Hey gang. Hey gang. Hey gang. I've watched over my original Endela review, and I reckon I could have done a little bit more information sharing on the actual knife itself. So I guess consider this a follow-up review. I'm going to do like a top 10 sort of facts type thing to hopefully get all of the most sort of pertinent and interesting things I can tell you in a list-based format for you to digest. So let's get into it. Hopefully I don't have to pad it out with too much non-Endela content, but Fact 1. The Spyderco Endela is almost identical to the well-known Delica and Endura models. Coming in the same configurations as the rest of the Japanese FRN series, it's simply the size in between those two named knives. Fact 2. The Endela has a flat ground blade, which is a good general choice, having few of the strengths or weaknesses of other grinds. Watch as it passes through this grown-out seed potato for reference. Fact 3. Did you know that you can plant most store-bought potatoes and grow your own with little more than regular watering, a bit of space, and basic fertilizers? Some store-bought potatoes are covered with a sprout inhibitor though, but purchasing organic certified potatoes will not be affected by this.
Look at this sneaky little guy. He's a tomato. He's pretending he's a potato. What are you doing in there, Mr. Tomato? Cheeky fella.
Fact 4. Potatoes are best grown in well-draining soil, watered lightly enough to keep them mostly damp, whilst refraining from soaking them too heavily. Fact 5. Many potatoes are known as 100-day vegetables, meaning from planting to harvesting it takes 100 days. For a very low investment, you can have a consistent supply of potatoes year-round. Potatoes make a great staple vegetable, and they can withstand some frost and increasingly hot temperatures, even in Australia. Fact 6. Did you know that a large part of the potato plant is somewhat toxic? Green or sprouted potatoes contain a toxin called solanine, which affects the nervous system. It's bad for us and birds too, so you have to keep your chickens off your potato patch. The leaves and stems have this toxin, so try and keep them off the plants as they're growing, and allowing potatoes to go green from the sun exposure can also raise this level of this chemical. Fact 7. Potatoes are tubers. The best way to describe a tuber is, rather than a bulb, what you're looking at is more like a compact stem, with lots of little areas of sprouting opportunities. On potatoes, these opportunities are called eyes. There are thousands of varieties of potatoes, however most often they're broken down into three core groups for consumers. Starchy, which are russets and many sweet potatoes, they're great for baking and frying as they're absorbent of flavours. Waxy potatoes are potatoes such as the red-skinned and fingerling potatoes. These potatoes are great for soups and salads because they hold their shape so well during cooking. All-purpose potatoes such as Yukon Gold, blue and purple potatoes are good for roasting, mashing or baking.
So as you can see, from 3 plants you get probably a good couple of weeks of potatoes if you're going to be eating potatoes a lot. And you see a lot of the plants there. Best place for them, if you're not going to use them straight away or within the next few weeks, is still in the ground unless they start to go funky. So these will probably all sit in the ground for the next month or so. And once I'm ready to, once I've been through these, or once these have started to turn or not being used, then that is when I will start pulling the next plant and the next plant. Once all the plants are dead and withered, I'll just rip them all out and I'll do my best at long-term storing them. And also the Spyderco Endela, you don't want to wash them when they're straight out of the ground. You want to just leave them, just brush the dirt off, so that you don't want to put absolutely filthy potatoes in your cupboard, but also you don't want to put sort of damp potatoes or wet potatoes that are going to get mouldy in your cupboard. So just use a cloth and just wipe them down. So these guys here are going to be my sort of stock potatoes. I'm going to go and put a fan on them and cover them, probably even in my cellar. The fan will make the dirt on the outside of them go just nice and powdery, and so reduce that moisture even more. And then these guys here, I'm going to wash up. I'm going to roast these today. Me and the kids are going to have some little potato, mini roast potatoes. They should be really nice. Well, whilst a lot of folks do say that Spyderco has become a company more about iteration and re-releases than about new knives, what I confidently know is that every time I sit down to a home-cooked chicken and potato dinner, there's one knife that's not going to be too far from my mind, and that is, of course, the Spyderco Endela.